I want government assistance, and I run out of money. I remember wrapping my son in a towel for 2 days.
Today, I want to address, how do you biohack the fear? And it's funny that I would be having this conversation because for so long, I wasn't afraid of my possibility of failing. I was afraid that it might work. And no one change, no one transformation happens all at once. So it's not a 180-degree turn. It's not like you have this amazing breakthrough, the ceiling opens up, lights come down, and you hear the angels sing, "Oh, you are now changed." It just ain't happening like that. Needle point move at a time. Fear is the one thing that will keep you paralyzed. You have a dream and you don't know how you're gonna get there with no one being your witness. It's your turn. Even if no one agrees with you, still say. Yes. Even if you have to walk alone, still say. Yes. Even when it feels like you have no idea how you're gonna make it happen, still say. Yes. The first yes is that idea that you can contain in your head. That second yes is to the biggest version of you that you haven't even seen yet. That second yes is gonna cost you something. That second yes is gonna require you to let go of some old toxic habits and some old toxic beliefs. It's gonna require you to release some of the fear you have and hold on to your passion. That second yes is gonna require you to become someone you haven't even seen yet. It's gonna require you to say the things you haven't said and do the things you haven't done so that you can become the man, the woman you've always known yourself to be. I stopped by for you to no longer make fear your enemy, but make fear your fuel. Because fear is an emotion like any other emotion. Fear is an emotion like love, like compassion. Fear is an emotion, we just gave it more power. Fear is a story that you've told yourself about something that might happen in the future, that you have zero evidence that it will happen, but it's causing a visceral effect in your body. That fear no longer becomes your fortress. Fear becomes your fuel. Fear is that thing that pushes you forward. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your friend. What have you allowed it to do in your life? Fear is that thing that has you constantly rocking back and forth. Yes, yes? To hold concern, question, and doubt in one hand. But courage is the willingness to hold passion in the other. I've walked the majority of my life with some form of fear inside of me. I've done the majority of the things I've done with some form of fear inside of me. See, when my son was 8 months old and I couldn't afford to put Pampers on him because I didn't have any money to buy Pampers, so I wrapped him in a towel for 2 days. I looked down at my son, riddled with fear, and I made a promise. Because before I would hold on to the fear, I was holding on to the passion. I said, Jelani, don't worry. Mommy will never be this broke again. And a heart full of passion, I began to redesign the experience called Lisa Nichols. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? How big would you play if you knew that you can survive any heartbreak, any breakdown, any betrayal? What would you do if the things that you were afraid of you knew were absolutely nothing? They were all, what would you do? Who would you love? How big would you play? That when you get an action, the fear has to dissipate into the nothingness that it always was.